We're gonna fix them all on the Z today. Stay tuned. Before we get down to work, I want to take a second out to thank our sponsor. This episode is happily sponsored by Honey. You guys know about Honey. I've been using it for a long time. Honey is a free online tool that automatically searches the internet for the best promo codes every time you buy something online. It works on over 30,000 sites. I use it when I'm shopping to buy everything for this show. I use it on sites like Amazon, eBay, Tire Rack, and a bunch more. I've been using Honey since the first time we did a sponsored episode, so probably a little bit over a year ago. And like I said, I installed it on my computer, so I use it for all my personal shopping, but also all the shopping that we do for the show here. And I've saved myself hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's really incredible. For one little plugin, I've never installed something on my browser that has saved me more money. I'm also like part of Honey Gold, which is a free membership rewards program that they have built into it, and I've got like over 6,000 Honey Gold saved up, which is equivalent to about like $60 that I can redeem for gift cards and other things like that. So it's pretty incredible to just have like an extra $60 sitting there for stuff that I didn't do anything. It's just free money. It's super easy and fast to install. You just go to joinhoney.com/build. Click once, click twice. It's installed on your browser, you're ready to go, and you're gonna start saving money immediately. Guys, it's super simple and you've got nothing to lose, honestly. It's free and it's only 2 clicks away. So either click the link in the description or go to joinhoney.com/build, that's B-U-I-L-D, like what B is for, and go download Honey on your browser today. All right, now let's get started on the brakes. The biggest issue we still have with this car is that the brakes are too squishy. They work, but they don't work nearly as well as they're supposed to, and that's because we probably got some air still trapped in the system. So we are gonna bleed the brakes once again, but we're gonna do it differently this time. We are gonna use the BMW diagnostic software that will actuate the dynamic stability control, what I was calling the ABS distribution block. It's gonna actuate some things in there, some solenoids and stuff that is going to allow any air that may be trapped in the system around that thing to get out. So it's actually got like a whole bleed procedure that's built into the BMW software that we're going to follow, telling it that we're bleeding it, and we are going to use a pressurized brake bleeder, excuse me. So that's what this guy is. You put a little bit of brake fluid in here, actually a lot of it, like 2 quarts, and it picks up from the bottom. You can see down there, there's a pickup. It picks up from the bottom, and then you pressurize this thing. So you pressurize it with this thing, you pump it up to 15 PSI. It's gonna pick up the fluid from the bottom, it's gonna run it through this thing, and then it's gonna go into this cap here. So it will add fluid as you lose it. It'll continue to add the fluid, but it also applies about 15 pounds of positive pressure. Let me go ahead and get our access cap off to the lid of the brake reservoir right there. So that's gonna pressurize the whole system and allow me to bleed it, make it a 1-person operation, and also just a little bit better. So let's get it all set up. All right, we are all set up. We got 15 pounds of pressure on our power bleeder. That means 15 pounds of pressure going top down on the brake system, similar to if somebody was pressing the brake pedal. And then the computer is over here and it's ready, so it's telling me what to do as far as opening the bleed screw and stuff like that. So I'm gonna follow the steps on the computer and then open all the different bleed screws now in order that it wants me to, and it'll open up the little box down there and work its magic while I'm doing the standard brake bleed. All right, big success. The brake pedal feel is definitely very good now. It's nice and stiff, but I just realized there's some other crazy stuff in here too, where you can, I don't know what the rework stuff does, but when you hit like Shift F3 and you hit rework, it'll like really run the motors and do crazy stuff for you while you're doing it. So I'm gonna actually try and do all this one more time while it's running crazy brake stuff. You go wheel by wheel and it's gonna do that for me with my positive pressure and my valve open, and it should really, really thoroughly go through this. So I'm just gonna do it one more time, can't hurt anything, and then we're gonna call it good. I'm happy to say the brakes were a huge success. We got a great firm pedal feel now, better than we ever had before. So if you have a BMW and you got a crazy brake system like this, I highly recommend either going down to the dealership where they have the software to modulate that ABS block down there, or you know, download software on your own, follow the tutorials on YouTube or something like that, and hit the buttons, hit the switches, and get the bubbles out of there. There were definitely some bubbles trapped in there. Next, we're moving on into the interior. Biggest update of the interior overall for the whole build is that we fixed the transmission, so that was great. Transmission is better. Now it's just cosmetic stuff. So we still need to do this carpet trim railing down here, but before we do that, I'm gonna go ahead and start with these end caps. So the end caps, right here, you can see where it's actually been smushed in a little bit. That's our transmission staying pressurized. You can see where it's been smushed in a little bit, where this has been hitting onto this. So we got to bring this down a little bit. I'm going to start with a file, and if I can get it down with a file, that'd be great. If not, I'm going to have to use the cutoff wheel with the flap disc on it and just zip it down there. And then I'll grab our piece of metal that we've been working on, and I know that that needs some alterations as well. So I'm going to try and get this side of the end cap done first. All right, the driver's side end plate is done. It just needs to be prepped, cleaned up, and then wrapped. I think the other side needs a little less modification, but let's go ahead and test fit it real quick and get it ready to go as well, and then we'll wrap them both at the same time. All right, this side is good to go as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean both of these up with some rubbing alcohol so the wrap has a good surface to stick to. And then I'm gonna be working in front of that heater because shop's not really up to temp to do wrapping anymore. So as long as I sit in front of that heater, I should be able to wrap them without any problem. All right, side panels are both wrapped up. Let's go ahead and install them. All right, the side plates are done. They make that black spot just that much blacker, but you can kind of see how they work. That one's on there right there, and then we come to the other side, and that one's on there right there. I think it's a good spot to like throw some stickers or something at some point, but yeah, door shut, fine, everything's fine with that. So those are done. Next thing we got to do is move on to the side railing trim piece. This actually was all left extra, like this was left with extra material hanging because I didn't want to cut it too short. So this needs a good trim up. That's got to get a little bit of a trim up right there as well. And I'm going to go ahead and build a side railing that's going to be black vinyl wrapped as well. And it's going to be riveted in along here that will hold this carpet in right about here. Okay, this black and green stripy thing right here, this is our trim piece. I just finished making it. So it's just a piece of steel, vinyl wrapped, and then I've marked out with this tape every 5 inches. So I wanted the holes to be nice and even. So the idea here is that I'm gonna drill through the piece of metal, through the carpet, and through the kick panel, and then I'm gonna rivet it all together every 5 inches, running all the way back. Could be a little tricky with the dashboard in there, but hopefully I can work around it. See how it goes. Looks clean. I'm very happy with how that turned out. It's gonna do a great job of holding the carpet down because I drilled through the carpet so it can't pop out. It looks pretty nice and clean. Rivets look good, nice and contrasty. That's good. So I'm gonna go to the other side, and it's gonna be the same process except where we're gonna also have to trim the carpet on the other side as well. All right, passenger side trim piece is installed. It looks really, really good in there. Trimmed that carpet, did a lot actually. So sweet, looks clean. Let's do one last little thing. Had to get the Fairlady M badge on there. We didn't have it on the back here. We had it on the dashboard during SEMA, but I wanted to get it stuck on the back here for, you know, the rest of the life of the car. Huge shout out to the fan Daniel, who 3D he came up with this design, which is really cool. Incorporates the BMW M symbol and then the Fairlady writing, and then he 3D printed it for me. So that's legit. I love it. All right, guys, that is a wrap on working on the Z. Now, later in its life, we may find more things that I want to change and more things I want to fix, and especially once summer rolls around and we're going to drive it a lot more, it'll probably come back and we'll do like a several-day refresher on it, somewhat like what we did with the Evora recently. But I'm a big fan of actually using the cars for a little bit and then figuring out what you want to change and then coming back and changing it. So that's it. That's where it's gonna sit. In the next episode, we are gonna hit the streets. We have 2 dry days during this weekend, so I hope the weather holds out, and our plan is to go driving. There's a lot of funny stuff going on in the background about that, but you'll have to find out in that next episode. So tune in to the next episode when we finally hit the streets and see what this thing can do. Thank you guys so much, and hopefully Monday, Cyber Monday, we are going to have a drop of some new shirts to support the build, this build, and future builds. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks to our sponsor, Honey. Guys, go to joinhoney.com/build, install it on your browser today. You have absolutely nothing to lose and a lot to gain. I could tell you personally, I did actually. All right, I'll see you guys, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. Peace!